Security Now Illustrated by AskMisterWizard.com, illustrating concepts, mechanisms, and algorithms from the amazing Security Now podcast by Steve Gibson and Leo LaPorte. This is episode 25, How the Internet Works, Part 1, Segment 2, IP versions and version 4 versus version 6. The early designers of the Internet knew that their work was pioneering, and they anticipated the need for future enhancement. They even anticipated periods of migration to accommodate big changes when a well-entrenched, older set of protocols might need to coexist with a newer, more advanced set for a period of time as old equipment is replaced. Accordingly, when they specified the format of IP packets, they set aside a prominent field near the beginning of every packet to contain the IP protocol version number, so that future equipment consulting documentation to be published in the future would know how to interpret the remainder of the corresponding packet.
So overall, what we're using today, and the only thing that most people feel is called version 4, IPv4, or Internet Protocol version 4. 1, 2, and 3 were sort of starter protocols that didn't have much life. When we got to 4, it was a rich enough solution that, we've had it ever since. Essentially, all the Internet that anyone knows has always been version 4. Now, for strange historical reasons, version 5 isn't ever going to happen. We're essentially going to eventually move to IPv6, version 6. IPv6 isn't something that at this moment we're going to ever spend much time talking about because it just hasn't happened. One of the concerns that was driving version 6 was people were worried we were going to run out of addresses on the Internet. So what IPv6 will do is it expands that 32-bit IP address that we'll talk about here in a second in great detail. It expands that 32-bit IP address to 128 bits. Well, 32 bits is 4,294,967,296.
Yes, you can see why they thought that was a lot.
Well, exactly. 128 bits for addressing, which is what IPv6 gives us, is really out of control. That's 3.4 times 10 to the 38th power. That's 340 billion IPs. So it's
that should
clear,
be enough, at least until we conquer a few more galaxies, I think.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. The problem is that it's not easily compatible with IPv4. The problem that IPv6 is having is that the manufacturers who are making the routers, even, for example, the PC manufacturers are supporting version 6. No one's using it yet. Windows Server 2003 and XP can do IPv6, but you can't get it anywhere. There's nowhere to plug it in to get version 6. Now, that's not strictly true. There are university environments which are sort of using it experimentally, but for all intents and purposes, it just hasn't happened yet.
So, what, is it just going to take so much to implement that it will never happen, or are people moving in that direction? With their IPv6,
what's happened has been really interesting, and that is that the NAT router technology that we talk about so much because it's such great security for typical home users. Home users are sharing many IPs in their home behind a single IP at their ISP. That is a single public IP. If it weren't for NAT router technology that basically allows many machines to share a single public IP, we really would be in trouble already with IP space depletion. But NAT routers happened, and they're just a good thing for everybody because it really works very well, not perfectly, but very well, as most home users know. And so the prevalence and birth of NAT routing technology has hugely reduced the pressure on the move to IPv6. Now, IPv6 is more than just bigger IP numbers, more than just this move from 32-bit IPs to 128-bit. It does offer also some inherent what's called link level security or IP level security. So there are some other features which are beneficial, but they're just not driving forces. And now that there's no big rush to IPv6 due to the fact that we're not about to run out of IPs, it's really not clear when we're going to make the move.
We've figured out a way around it.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
To see the other segments and related resources for this episode, please join us at AskMisterWizard.com. Select Security Now from the prominent section index at the top of the homepage. Choose an episode from the index at the bottom, and then select a segment from the resulting page. The original audio-only version of this podcast can be found on the Gibson Research Corporation site at grc.com/securitynow. This clip illustrates some of the highlights from that show. This video clip comes from a large collection of related clips. All are indexed and easy to find at www.askmisterwizard.com, along with related items, text articles, illustrations, and forums. Please visit us today. We appreciate your support. Thank you.